All right, everybody, welcome back. We now welcome on the longest tenured Pacer. He is our starting center. He is the greatest shot blocker on the planet. It is Myles Turner. Myles, how are you?
Love, y'all. What's going on, man? Doing great.
We're doing great. We're doing even better now. I appreciate you coming on. But, Myles, I think, to wrap up last season, I think the Pacers played it safe. They held you and a few others out down the stretch to make sure that you're going into this season as healthy as can be. How is your body feeling this offseason? And can you tell us a little bit about what you've been working on and looking to improve in the summer?
Absolutely, man. This is the best my body has felt in years, honestly. As you guys know, my past couple off seasons, I had to start the off season with, rehabbing. A couple years ago was my toe, and then last year, I forgot, I don't even remember what it was, but like just actually rehabbing, it took, a month or two away from my process. This month, this off season, I was able to hit the ground running. I started my off season around May, and I was in Denver. I got to train out there for a month and a half, and it was a different type of training for me. Altitude obviously plays a huge factor out there. So I wanted to just try to push myself and just do different things. And yeah, man, as far as on the court, I'm working on, most of the things. Obviously, still improving my shot, getting the numbers up there. I really strive to be like a 50, 40, 90 guy. I think it's something that's possible. As people have done it in the past. And, a lofty goal like that, but something I feel like I'm capable of doing. Working on going left a lot more. I think going right. It's obviously, people that see me play or, my scouts just say, I'm more of a right-hand kind of guy. But I'm very capable of going left and finishing on the left side of the basket as well. So just mix things up. And I'm in a really, really great place, man. I'm excited for the things to come this season.
I am too, and I'm curious. Do you have any goals that you've set for yourself this upcoming season?
Well, a couple, personal goals, of course, I want to be All-Star. Have my first All-Star berth. I'll be real serendipitous if it happened. The All-Star game coming into Indianapolis this year. That's something that, I always strive to be. Crack that first all-defensive team. Still up there. Something, I've always been aiming for, over, years past. And really, so the 50, 40, 90 was obviously a big goal for me as well. I think that's something that I think is attainable. It's not like I'm going to go out there and just, if I miss a couple shots, and I get my percentage to this and that, nothing like that. But it's just like, something in the back of my head, I could shoot for and aim for as well. And just becoming that vocal leader even more now, with a younger team and being the longest tenured guy here. I've been the leader on this team, but, being more of a vocal leader, I would say, especially like in the locker room. And I think naturally when I speak, guys listen. So just continue just to grow upon in that area.
I'm excited about that. 50, 40, 90. It sounds really tough because it's been really tough, but you shot about 55% from the field. I mean, at times you've shot around 38% from three. So I really do feel like that is something that can happen. But you talked about it now being one of those veteran leaders. Look, you're going into year 8. We're coming off of just seeing, I would say, the best Myles Turner we've ever seen yet. Keyword is yet. Am I getting greedy or am I crazy or is there something else still left in the bag that we're going to see next season? Because I think you're set up to have another career year.
Man, there's plenty left in the tank, and even crazier, bro. I'm actually going to my 9th year. Like I've been in this for a minute, bro. Exactly. It's
short.
I was just talking to one of our boys about that yesterday. It's like I played in a lot of different areas. I played against Kobe. I played against Tim Duncan. Like I've been here for quite some time. It's funny just to look at it that way, but. Just going back into your point, bro, just being that vocal leader is something that you can talk about, but actually being about it and actually having younger guys seeing the work you put in. I'm one of the guys that are one of the first ones to show up, one of the last ones to leave. But like walking in that's something that's huge. You can't just say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. If you have your guys there and they don't see you, putting your best foot forward or see you talk about things you're about, then why would I follow that person? So just follow along, like just with those type of things.
Yeah, one of the things I'm really curious about is, like you said, you played for 8 seasons going into your 9th year, and you've played with a lot of different players, but Paul George was the guy when you came here, and now it's Tyrese Halliburton. Those two guys are really good basketball players, but they're totally different how they play. I'm curious, what is it like playing with both those guys and maybe some of the similarities and the differences you see in their games?
Yeah, it's when I came with PG, he was already kind of at that superstar level, right? He came off those finals run or those Eastern Conference Finals runs against Miami, those 2 years, and he was starting to hit his ascension, and playing with him, he was already someone that was established. So just being able to see like the work he put in night and night out, it was like I was almost a fan while being on the court with him as a teammate. It was like a weird thing I had to get over, like my rookie year especially. It's like these are guys you're playing with, playing with in 2K, and guys that you grow up watching, and you're actually on the court with them. It's like kind of crazy just to, just just to, I guess, to put in for it all to come to fruition. But with PG, he was just one of those guys that people feared him, bro. Like legitimately, like guys knew they couldn't guard him, type of thing. Tyrese is finally starting to turn that corner of becoming that. Like, whereas when I was with PG, he was already at that superstar level. Tyrese is building himself into that. It's been excited watching him play the World Cup. Just for a side note, but with Tyrese, he's someone who wants to get everybody involved, bro. He doesn't really want to score. He can score, very capable, as we know, but he like gets off on actually getting guys involved, and that's something that's rare, especially at this level. To have such a pass first, unselfish dude. And obviously, it's helped me in my career, for someone who actually looks for me, someone who's really trying to, get me going. And, just the communication is there too. Someone like him, he's a younger guy, quote unquote younger guy coming into his own, and it's easy to communicate with him in that.
Just staying on the topic of Tyrese, look, I'm 5'10" on a good day, so what do I know? But it's got to be a big man's dream to play with a point guard like Tyrese Halliburton. Do you think he's the perfect player to unlock the full potential of this Pacers team? And do you think he could also be that guy to get, players in free agency to take that second look at Indiana?
Yeah, man. I think that he does play a big factor in free agency, for us as well, because when you want to come to a team with a guy who is literally, like I said, wants to get people involved, like that's literally like how he gets himself going. Why would you not want to come here? Why would you not want to come here and be a part of that when you can build around somebody like that, And I think with Tyrese, the sky's the limit, man. I think that he had a great season last year, but obviously he still has stuff to improve upon, like we all do. There's things that, once you put a target on the back, he's an all-star last year. Now he's kind of a hunted guy. He had a great story coming out of Sacramento, being that guy who, he got traded and, got his revenge in a sense. It's like, all right, well, you got it now. So what are you going to do with it? Right. So, people he's going to have that big neon target on his back this season, man. And I'm very curious to see how he handles it, but I think he's going to do really well.
I will say probably the last 13, 14 months, it's probably been a whirlwind of emotions for you with the Pacers pursuing DeAndre Ayton in the offseason last year. And then, eventually coming to an agreement with you on the renegotiation and extension contract. I'm just kind of curious, what were your thoughts during last offseason when all that was going down with Ayton? And then turning that season around and really becoming the face of the center position for this team after so many conversations about, is it Myles or is it Domas for the center position?
Man, that's water under the bridge, man, for real. I just think that with that situation, it's business, right? Like if I'm an organization, I'm a GM, I got to do what's best for my team. And I got to do what's best, for us going forward. For someone like me who was on an expiring contract, you look in other places. So I never really took much of it personal. It was just one of those things where it's like, all right, well, this is how y'all feel, and I'll go out there and show you what I'm about. And that's what the season was. And, I still have plenty of room to grow upon. That was not, by far not, it was my best season to date, but it isn't going to be my best season. I really feel like I can definitely build upon that. And like I said, I'm excited, man. I'm really just excited for the future. Hindsight's 2020. I'm excited to keep building with this team, for real.
Myles, I know you mentioned water under the bridge, man. I've never seen a man survive more trade rumors than you. I'm happy to have you here. And the extension was such a big win for just the Pacers in general. So really excited to have you on for 2 more seasons. But, the Pacers haven't had maybe the splashiest off seasons in the past. However, Pacer Nation, it's running wild right now with additions of Bruce Brown, Obi Toppin, Jarris Walker, Ben Shepherd coming in through the draft. Can you shed some light on maybe what you're most excited about to be playing alongside these guys?
Man, honestly, bro, I think we got so much better defensively. I think that was something that we kind of struggled with last year. It wasn't no secret that we weren't the best defensive team out there. But with those additions, I think that we're really going to be a much better, anchor down defensive team. And it's going to be exciting, bro. You got someone, I played against Bruce in Brooklyn. He's running the 5. He's someone who can literally play every single position and really be able to help out this team a lot. And I watched Jarris play in college a little bit, man, during his little tournament run. He reminds me so much of Thad, bro, Thad Young when he was here. I think there's a lot of stuff that he can bring to the team. He's a rookie. He's going to take time for him to actually, learn the ways of the league itself. But he's someone I think that can come in and contribute right away. And even Ben, man, I like the way he shoots the ball. I really do. It was shooting is something that obviously is essential to be about, to compete at this level. But shooting at a high level, which I think he's more than capable of doing, is something to be able to come out and help us right away. And then I don't even speak on Obi, man. You've seen, what he's done in New York, and I think really at the end of last season, when Julius was hurt, he really started to come along. He was shooting the ball a lot better. You've seen the viral clips of him running the floor. He can really get out And obviously, with Tyrese and him, the alley-oops are going to be crazy. Fans got to get your popcorn ready. It's going to be some good stuff.
I'm excited, man. And the majority of this core has yet to experience the playoffs, but they're eager to get there this season. What does this team as a whole have to do to focus on getting to that next step and making the playoffs?
Well, again, it starts with our defense. I think we can score with the best of them. I think we were top 10 in scoring last year, but you're not gonna be able to just outscore everybody. You got to lock down. And for someone who's has some Game 7 experiences and played in the playoffs, like that's literally what it's all about. Nobody cares about plays in the playoffs. It's about strapping down and actually getting stops. So if we can commit ourselves to that end, the sky's the limit for this team. But if we don't, then we're gonna struggle.
You talked about a little bit about the sky being limit. Look, injuries, coaching changes, various factors in the past. It felt like it stopped the Pacers teams from maybe reaching their full potential. It feels like that ceiling has been raised. The young talent, some of the names that we went through, it is through the roof. Can you just talk about maybe what we're building here for years to come, rather than just being a team that's happy to just get to the playoffs and maybe is a first-round exit? This feels sustainable.
It's foundation, right? You're building. You got to build a culture. I think that's one thing that I think a lot of people look at in free agency is the culture of what you're building. I think we have, for the years past, we've had great guys in the locker room. In years past, like my first couple of years, or even a couple of years after that, you'll have one or two guys in the locker room that just doesn't fit in, with the group. I haven't felt that over the past few years, and I think that especially like the young exuberance that we're bringing in now, that's not going to be a problem. We have great vets. You have me, Buddy CJ McConnell, and James Johnson, guys that have been around, is able to actually really bring everybody together. So setting that foundation is going to be huge. I think that this being our first year, really being able to play together with this unit, I think some exciting things are going to happen. And for years, like going forward, you're set. You're locked into multiple positions. So as a franchise, that's something that feels good. It's stuff you don't have to stress about as much.
Yeah, one of the things I'm curious about is the coaching staff headed by Rick Carlisle, because I think this is your fourth coach that you've had since you've been here. Frank Vogel when you were a rookie, Nate McMillan, and then the 1 year of Nate Bjorkgren, which we don't even have to really get into that. But, I think there could be some fun stories about that later. But with Rick Carlisle, I'm just curious, what does he bring to the table that's so different than those other three coaches?
Bro, Rick is definitely one of my favorite coaches because he's just no nonsense, bro. Like first of all, actually, I think he's a Hall of Fame coach. I think everybody knows that. He's grown up here in Dallas. Obviously, he's able to watch those teams and whatnot. But being under his tutelage, bro, he's someone who just genuinely loves the game, man. And for Michigan, really, he's not a bullshitter. Like he's going to tell you exactly like it is. Like if he doesn't like something, he's going to tell you. There's no sugarcoating. It's just I'm gonna get straight to the point. And as someone who's been in this league for a while, I respect that. We don't have to act like we're friends. You don't have to sugarcoat stuff. Just tell me what you need me to do. We'll go out there and get it done. Some people may not be able to handle that style of coaching, but for me personally, that's like what I enjoy. And I think that Rick is going to continue to do wonders for this team. I think when you're a younger guy coming into a team like this, where let's just be real, like the roster's not set, the starting lineup's not set. He gives everybody a chance to compete. Another thing I respect about Rick as well. So I don't know, man. I think Rick is just I think he's the right man for the job, with this team, for real.
What do I know, being from afar, but Carlisle had comments for years that he liked you. Even when he was with the Mavericks, that he was excited to, be able to, work with a player such as yourself. And it's not to take anything away from any players or coaches of the past, but what was the biggest difference for you last year that enabled you to have that career year and be as efficient as we talked about? Because Myles, you increased your scoring by 5 points in year 8. We don't see that too much. Usually a player might be kind of, could be in the prime, could be in the middle, but to increase by 5 points, that's a lot.
I just think I had a coach that was really committed to unlocking my potential. And, communication was definitely a huge thing. As soon as Coach Carlisle got the job, like he literally came to Texas to, came back on to Dallas just to work with me. He's look, I can flip the camera. He's literally my neighbor. How do I flip this camera? Like he lives right there.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
Like that's my guy, man. Like, he was able to come down here, and for someone who's able to come in here and actually put in work and be about things he's talking about, I respected that a lot. He wanted to get me around the basket more. He wanted me to start rolling a bit more as opposed to popping as much. And I saw the freedom to shoot the three, obviously, but he really made it a key point to get me down there and be around the basket, post up more, roll a bit more. You know, when we had Domas here, I wasn't able to do it as much. You know, paint was a little bit more clogged with the way he was working. I was more of a spacer. But being a lone five, I'm able to actually go down there and mix it up a bit and be that inside-out threat.
Yeah, and I definitely was impressed with your low post game last year because that is something we had not seen a lot from you. But to add that to your game and be able to use a little bit more, I thought that really opened up and showcased people that you have more to your game than you were able to show with the other previous teams that we had. But I won't lie, I was actually in attendance for that Minnesota Timberwolves game at home when you had the dunk on McDaniels, and I actually traveled to Milwaukee to watch you guys play the Bucks when you had the dunk on Giannis.
Hey, my good luck charm, man.
Last year I was there for you, man. So, you know, obviously you had the one against Tristan Thompson in the playoffs and on Gordon Hayward, but I'm curious, is one of those four your favorite dunks of all time, or is there another one that you had that you were just like, people forget about this?
One of my favorite dunks, bro, one of my favorite dunks that it's crazy that you probably won't even be able to find a film of it. It was my second year, and it was a preseason game against Orlando. And I had a dunk against Bismack Biyombo. And it was one of those ones, Monte Ellis that dropped me a dime. And like it was one of those ones where I wasn't even thinking. Like I just went. I just cocked back, and it was one of those ones where like I'm like leaning to the side. And you know, when Vince Carter dunked on Lonzo Mourning, that's kind of what it felt like. Just like leaning to the side and cocked. It was one of those dunks. And that's one of my all-time favorites. But out of all those four, I think my favorite one was the Tristan Thompson one, just because you know it was a crazy like scene being in the playoffs and then being at home, and like everybody got to experience. That was one of the first times I really had like a crazy dunk like that, you know, in that playoff setting. You know, so that was probably one of my personal favorites for sure.
I got two questions for you then. One, did you ever bring that dunk up to him when he was a Pacer?
He was a Pacer for a short time. Nah, man, we never really rapped on it. You know, kept it moving and kept it pushing, but I think Joe Tristan's a great guy, bro. For real. There's a short time he was here, I had some really like, you know, engaging conversation with him. Not even just about basketball, just like just about life and just kind of just navigating like the ways of the league. You know, he's someone who's, you know, he's a vet. He was able to stick around for as long as he did, and that's not by accident. You know, I think it's such a misconception when players come in, even when myself coming in as a younger player, like you'll play 2K or something like that, right? Like, oh, this guy sucks. What the hell? Like, and then you actually play against real life. It's like, like there's a reason why. You know, people stick around there in the league, you know, for as long as they are.
Even made an opportunity to he joined the Lakers, you know, late during that playoff run. So, you know, shout out to him. But also, you know, I'm curious, is there a big man or two that you view as like the measuring stick? You know, I'm not trying to start anything or anything, but I felt like Rudy Gobert was one of those for you. When you guys got in that, whatever, that's also a while back, and the Pacers picked up the win, I felt like that was a moment because I just felt like Gobert was like one of those, hey, this is a defensive player of the year type guy. Like, this is who Myles should be, you know, kind of measuring up to, one of those type of things. Is there a couple bigs that you have in mind when you see them on the calendar? Like, all right, tonight's the night.
Honestly, bro, I kind of run my own race. If you do that, you start to get caught up in things that, you know, will distract you, right? If I'm about to go play like a Karl Towns or a Jokic or Embiid, like one of those good type of guys, like you start getting worried about the matchup, right? So they score, and so naturally, like, well, I gotta go score now, right? Or you know, you might score, you might get a couple buckets, but then all of a sudden, that's all you're focused on. So, like, I'd be lying if I said, of course, it wasn't bigs. That's like you know, you circle your counter. It's like, all right, you know, tonight's the night. But if you start to like get caught up in that, it can really cost you. And like that's kind of another thing. One of the things I learned earlier in my career too. You know, I used to do that with certain bigs. Like one of them was like a DeMarcus Cousins, right? When I played against him, I was like, okay, yeah, this is someone like I really got to go out there and show who I am. And then you start doing that, then you start overthinking. Then you start shooting stuff that's out of character or doing stuff that's out of character, and it can mess with you. It can really mess with you know the whole, I guess, tootles of the game. So. You know, truthfully speaking, yeah, there's a couple bigs here and there. You see on the schedule, it's like, all right, you know, I might have to, you know, do this tonight, this is that. But I found that in my later years, you don't get caught up in it as much.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because you get past that point where you're all struck by these guys, and then you're just like, yeah, I'm one of these guys. So it's it's one of those things where it's able to just figure out that you belong here. So that's awesome. And I'm curious, this year's team, obviously, we talked about some of the additions they made, but looking at the rest of the Eastern Conference, how do you think you guys stack up against the rest of the East?
Bro, we're definitely going to compete. I think we will definitely compete. I think the East itself is still strong. You know, over the past 2-3 seasons, especially, the East has gotten stronger. I definitely see us, you know, at least trying to get to that top 6 seed, bro. I think it's very attainable. It's just one of those things where you have to hit your stride at the right time in the season. You know, the competitor in me is like, we're gonna be a top 4 seed, we're this and that. But the reality of it is, you have a younger team. You have guys who haven't really had a full season. You have guys who don't have playoff experience. So it's gonna be bumps along the way. But I still think that if you hit your stride at the right time, all it takes is 1 month. All it takes is like a few stretches to actually, put some wins together and whatnot. So I think it's very attainable for us to be a top 6 seed.
Top 6 seed feels like it does feel realistic. It does. I think to say, hey, we're going to take the jump from outside the play into top 3, that's tough. But the mentality has to be different this year going into the season compared to last year where, they kind of tempered expectations. Hey, it's going to be a little bit different. And that didn't sound like the usual Pacer basketball. Can you tell me how hungry and motivated this squad is before the year? Because I'm telling you, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. I can't wait to get back to the playoffs. You got to be feeling the same.
Absolutely, bro. I got spoiled, man. My first 4 or 5 seasons, I went to the playoffs. I had some game sevens. I've had the highs and lows. I've been swept. I had the emotions of a game 7. I've seen game-winning shots. Like, that's the type of environment that not everybody can say that they played in. Whenever you're all said and done, your career's over, you're telling your grandkids about the league. Like, not everybody's gonna be able to say it. I played at a high level in the playoffs, and I want that more so, obviously, for myself, but I want it for my guys as well, man. Like, to be able to actually experience that with the group and how special that bond is that you build, like, throughout the playoffs and traveling on the road and being in different cities and hostile environments. Like, that stuff is fun, bro. It's just dope. And I think that, this roster that we have now, I'm telling you, it's all going to be about hitting the stride at the right time. We're going to win some, we're going to lose some, but when you actually put together certain streaks or a good-ass month, it just makes it all the more realistic. So as you're saying, I'm definitely itching to get back there myself. It's just a competitor to me. I told you I was training in Denver at the beginning of the year. And at the end of the off season. And, the finals was going on over there. And I went to a game over there, and I just saw the way the city was like rallying around, like, Denver itself, and how they had that crazy story and everything. And like, I want that in Indy, bro. Like, for real, for real. And it's dope that we get the All-Star game this year and we get that camaraderie, but to have that in the playoffs, like, at another level for me to be able to experience it, like, I'm into myself, man. I think it could be a really fun thing.
Speaking of a fun thing, you were there in the bubble. It was such a weird experience, I'm sure, because of how everything was during that time. But Bubble Warren, talk to me about TJ Warren in the bubble, because that was just superhuman stuff. I'm just curious.
Man, well, we were playing pickup in Indy right before we left for the bubble. And TJ was killing, bro. Like, was not missing. I'm talking, he was dunking on people. He was hitting setbacks. He was hitting all sorts of crazy mid-range shots, like little. And TJ was one of those guys, he's naturally quiet and really is just about hoops, but he was in a different place. I don't know what it was. I don't know what training. I don't know what he was eating, like whatever it was. But when he got to the bubble, bro, he was just in a different place, man. He was just locked in. And that Philly game, I'm not sure who was talking shit to him. Somebody was gassing him up, and he just never looked back, bro. For real, for real. It was really incredible to witness. I know it was against Philadelphia, right? I think I don't know who gassed him up, but someone was talking to him crazy and just got him going.
Man, yeah, that was a moment I think Pacer fans will not forget. But you've seen a couple of rookies come through town, quite a few. What was different about Benedict Mather and Andrew Nembhard last year? Because they didn't look like rookies, or they just looked like something we hadn't seen from a rookie standpoint.
To start with Ben, bro, his mentality is everything. Like, he really has that Kobe, like, killer mentality. Like, it's kind of like cliche to say, oh, Mamba mentality, this isn't that. But I think Ben really, like, epitomizes that, bro. Like, he literally has no friends on that floor. He doesn't care who you are. He doesn't care, when he first got drafted and he started saying that stuff about LeBron, I was like, oh, this dude right here, bro. He said, I know the idea. Then we actually played against him, and Ben, held his own a little bit. And then Ben started to, all the crap he was talking and whatnot, he started to back it up. And I respect that personally. And Ben is one of those guys that I think that he really is just locked in and focused, bro. And he's someone who is very hard on himself, I would say. I think he's kind of an emotional player. So those great games, those good games, he's really into it. But those lows, like, he feels it a bit. It's because he cares. You know what I mean? I think that's something that's, I won't say rare, but something that you don't see when a first-year player, someone who cares like that much. And then Drew's is cold, bro. For real. I've been watching him play since he was at Florida, before he transferred or whatnot to Zaga. Like I've always kind of just liked his game, bro. He's just really a heady guard, and people don't understand how strong he is. Like he's big up top, so when he hits people or gets downhill, like they feel that. We were in practice and training camp last year, and he came down and like hit me in my chest, like, kind of came. I was like, damn, motherfucker's a little strong, man, right? And he's someone who's just a very skilled player, bro. Sees the floor very well, and someone who works on his game, bro. You can tell he studies the game as well. You know, even his little brother, man. His little brother's cold too, bro.
Mhm.
He was at Creighton. He just transferred somewhere. Oh, Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
Right. Gonzaga, yeah. So then they got some good hoops in that family, man, for real.
Well, maybe we'll get his brother on the team next year in the draft. You never know, but that'd be dope for me. I think Andrew Nembhard's awesome. He's one of my favorite players to watch just because how he plays the game. But I'm curious, was there somebody last year that really just kind of surprised you with how well they stepped up to the plate in terms of just kind of taking a step maybe you didn't necessarily see in them?
Man, I gotta give a shout out to Sticks, bro. Jalen Smith. I think at the beginning of the year there was a lot of expectations on him, and he was starting, and he was off the bench, and then he got DNP'd or wasn't playing. I think he took a step. There's still more steps to take, but I think he took a step in maturity last year, man. Like I think he saw what the situation was. Obviously, you have a starting center. You have like in me, and you're replaying behind some guys, and he could have very easily just hung his head and just gave up on the season. But bro, he endured, man. And like towards the end of the year, he started to play more. And he started to become more of a man, bro. Like just the way he started hitting people, the way he started taking hits and whatnot. It's something that a flip switch for him. And I think that someone of his stature and his ability, he's only going to get better. And I saw a flip switch for him last year, and I'm hoping he carries that over into the season.
Who do you think's that player that is really poised for like a breakout year on this team? Maybe it's just a difference from going from, rookie to sophomore or anything like that. Just someone in specific that maybe we're not talking enough about, but hey, next year could be the year.
Man, I really like Jordan Noir, bro. I really do. Jordan came along last year, and he's someone who can put the ball in the hoop. I think for someone with him, he never really got a real shot in Milwaukee. But on this team right here, he'll get a chance to go out here and actually make a difference on this team. So I think he's someone I'm looking out for, to have a breakout year. We just spoke on Andrew Nembhard. I think he'll get more playing time this year and a chance to actually go out there and improve himself a bit more. And I mean, I'm obviously going to throw myself in the conversation as well. I think, I want to build off of the great things I did last year. Efficiency was a big thing that I know I was really good at last year, and I want to keep on, building on that. Just being that reliable guy, especially down the stretch.
I wanted to pick your brain on this because it was an idea I came up with. Obviously, we know the Pacers don't retire a lot of jerseys. Basically, you have to be a Hall of Famer to get your jersey retired. And I feel like they could do a really cool thing by maybe creating like a Ring of Honor to celebrate former Pacers of the past that have had a huge impact on the team, whether we haven't won a championship yet, but they still have had a huge impact on it. What are your thoughts on maybe the Pacers implementing a Ring of Honor?
A Ring of Honor, that'd be something that'd be dope, man, because it's something that you can bring those players back. You know what I mean? And you might be able to put those players amongst the group that's there now, give them that wisdom and like just tell them what it was like just to be in that city and tell them how much the fans like embrace you. I'd imagine, I think guys like, like a David West, like, even like Roy when he was here, and just guys that have been through, like you said, like the Ring of Fire, but like people that actually have been through that fire and they lived to tell it in a sense, I think it's actually a dope concept. I'm not sure how much, they'll embody or epitomize, but I do like the idea for sure.
I will say your voice is probably stronger than mine in trying to get this accomplished. So if you want to be an advocate for it, I mean, you can take all the credit for it too. I don't care. I just think it'd be a great way for them to kind of embrace some of the former Pacers and just continue that rich history of honoring those players.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. That's real. Yeah.
No, I mean, when you're thinking about that, you're talking about that Ring of Honor. Myles, I did the math. There's maybe 7 or 8 players that have been with the franchise longer than you have been with the Pacers, and the Golden State Warriors have 3 of them. It took 4 championships just to keep those 3 players there. What did it mean for you to sign that extension last year and further your loyalty and legacy with the Pacers, since they drafted you in 2015?
Well, bro, like Indy literally is my second home, man. I've been there since I was a teenager. Right. And the city embraced me like right away. I came in here, I played right away. I was starter by the end of the year, started in the playoffs, and like people really embraced it and backed me, even through a lot of the flack that I got and the hate that I gotten, like for some of the fans, it was overshadowed by the love I got from the fans, bro. Like people legitimately have my back and will go to war for me. And it's like, that's something that you don't see every day, is that loyalty in a franchise. So, that's stuff that I also consider, when I look at stuff like free agency, or when I look at, like re-signing extensions like I did. It's just that zone and knowing I can build here. So it felt amazing, and it meant the world to me that, I was embraced as much as I was, and still am, even after I signed that extension. And bro, it's just like returning on that investment. Honestly, like I really think that these teams are going forward. And I understand it was only a short-term deal, it's a 2-year deal, but in these 2 years, I'm gonna get everything I got, bro. Like I'm not gonna say I've seen everything, but I've seen a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially when it comes to me and my career here. So with all that wisdom and with all that, knowledge that I have, just putting my best foot forward into making this, roster and making this franchise, as great as it can be. I'm committed.
I think it'd be awesome to see that you've stuck it out this long with this team, despite all the trade rumors and stuff. To see them get to Eastern Conference Finals or even the NBA Finals, I think it'd be awesome for you to be a part of that, just because you've been along for the whole entire journey of this whole time. So, seeing PG request a trade, Oladipo getting traded, then we getting Tyrese. I mean, it's been a lot that you've been through. So I respect you for it, but you are a proud Texas Longhorn. I'm curious. I don't know if you've ever answered this question before, but if you could build your starting 5 of Texas Longhorns, who would that 5 be?
Oof. All right. You got to throw TJ forward, obviously, the one. I mean, he's a Texas legend and stuff. You know what? I flip-flop that. I probably put DJ Augustine at the 1. I probably put TJ at the 2. Oof. The 3. You can throw Katie at the 3 because he can play the 3. I put LaMarcus Aldridge at the 4 and myself at the 5.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah. It's a really good roster right there. 3 of them are Pacers between TJ and TJ. So
DJ played a little bit. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's fun. I got to throw this out there. I'm a WVU alumni. So I mean, Texas, man, that's our rival, but Myles, I'm gonna put that aside because I do appreciate you. But we do have some rapid fire questions for you just to end this segment. So first thought that comes to mind, I always got to say this because we had Lance Stevenson on here. He took about 5 minutes per rapid fire. I defeated the whole purpose.
Shout out to Boy Ready. That's my boy.
Man. Just gotta love him. Gotta love him. First question, favorite teammate you've had?
Favorite teammate I had, Al Jefferson, for sure.
That's all right. I love that answer. Actually, I know it's rapid fire, but I got to say we've had Al on twice on the podcast, which I haven't even heard from Al in a long time, but we had him on when we first started doing it, and he was pretty excited about your game. So I think that's really cool to hear that. What's your go-to restaurant in Indy?
Go-to restaurant in Indy, Chatham Tap. They got the wings over there. It's a fire on Mass Ave.
Okay.
Gotta try that out. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Yeah, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. That's my
okay.
Oh, that's a great answer. I did not expect that one. Okay, who is one player you'd love to join the Pacers?
One player I'd love to join the Pacers? This is a controversial one right here. Sheesh. Bro, currently, man, throw Dame Lillard in there, man. Why not?
Okay, well, they say he's available, so we'll see. But my last question, I guess, is a 2-parter for you. Favorite Lego set that you've ever built, and not just the NBA. Is there another athlete that can go toe-to-toe with you from a Lego standpoint?
Oof, okay. Well, first, my favorite one I built is Death Star, just because, like, it was so – there's like so many scenes from all the movies in there. You're literally building out like scenes from the movie, like even for like episodes 5 and 6, for the most part. And like it's kind of cool just to watch the movies and kind of build at the same time because you kind of see it all coming together. So Death Star is definitely up there. Does anyone go toe-to-toe with me in the Legos in the NBA? Nobody. I mean, the only other person I could throw in there maybe one of the Lopez brothers or something. I don't know. I think they're kind of into like all the kind of like the nerdy geeky stuff I'm into. So. Perhaps, but no, I can't see anybody.
All right, my last one for you. What is your all-time favorite Pacers jersey, and then all-time favorite NBA jersey?
All-time favorite Pacers jersey? I'll definitely say the FloJos. Like them, like those are the ones with the stripes. Am I not mistaken? Right, the flow. That's the terminology in that. The FloJos,
like the side stripe, a little bit.
Are
you thinking of the pinstripes?
Probably the FloJo's, because when I got here, CJ Miles had a FloJo jersey.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
That's the one. The FloJo's. That's the one. Yes, FloJo's probably my favorite. And my favorite NBA jersey, probably the Raptors jersey when they had the Raptor.
Oh yeah,
and stripes. Like those are cold to me, bro.
Classic.
Like, yeah.
I guess following up on that real quick, what are your thoughts of the new Pacer jerseys that they just kind of announced?
Those are honestly, bro. I saw a mock-up of it. I wasn't even sure if it was a real thing.
Scott Agnes shared that on his website that they were the leaked new Pacers jersey, like with the spray paint looking thing with like a teal and yellow and black. It's kind of interesting to me. I don't love it, but some people liked it. I just don't think it really reflects the Pacers.
I'm gonna keep it a stack, bro. Like when I saw Scott's name, but you like had to subscribe to it, and I was like, I'm not doing that. So like I'm not about to just like waste all this time just like see a picture. So I saw a mock-up of it like on I don't even know where I saw it. It might have been Instagram or something like that, but I wasn't sure if it was a real one. So I don't want to comment on it and be like, oh, this is that, and I don't even know if it's a real like jersey. You feel me?
No. Last year's. What do you think of last year's? The ones that were like the black ones last year.
Why am I blanking on last year's jerseys? My goodness, it's only been a couple. Oh yeah, the black. Yeah. I didn't mind them, bro, because they said like it was supposed to be like Cambridge, right, or something like that. With the yellow or gold. I didn't mind them just because I like black jerseys though. Like we did something like that at UT. We had like anthracite jerseys when we first got there, so I don't mind black jerseys, but I like the fact that we switched it up every year. You know, just keeps things fresh. My favorite ones is probably the original ones with like when Vic was here. Which one? You know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about the blue and gold one or the white one?
It wasn't the white one. I think it was the blue and gold one itself. Yeah. Those were my favorite. They had like the race.
I thought you were talking about that.
They had the checkers on the side.
That was sick.
Those were sick. Those were probably like my favorite ones I've seen.
Hey, I love it, Myles. I definitely appreciate you coming on. I'm excited for what we have in store, you know, as a team, but also for yourself. I really feel that you are in the prime of your career right now. Very happy that's happening in Indiana and nowhere else. I'm selfish and greedy like that. But please tell everybody where they could find you out on social media.
Find me on social media, Turner_Myles on Instagram, original_Turner on TikTok and Twitter. And that's about all I do, man. I ain't really into all that social media stuff no more. So, yeah.
I will say this before we go. Today is Reggie Miller's birthday. So we are recording this on Reggie's birthday. So I got to give Reggie a shout out. I got this old retro. I'm going to pull my mic down. This old Reggie.
Nice
1990 shirt on to support the birthday, but I gotta get some more shirts. I just don't have a lot, but it's one of those things you just added the collection as you go along.
Hey, Myles, best of luck this season. Hey, stay healthy, stay hungry, and please, Myles, we got to get back to the playoffs. I'm itching out here. I need it. That's what you described in Denver. I mean, just it's what we're dreaming about over here.
Hey, man, I'm right there with y'all. Appreciate the time today. It's for real. I'll see y'all next season, man. Shout out to everything.
All right, thanks, Myles.
Setting the pace, going to the top. Setting the pace, going to the top. This is your #1 podcast. Sweeping every team. We gon' need a mop. Smooth.